Hey y'all, it's CherokeeStarfish, and welcome back to the conclusion of Draken. And yes, I can say that with confidence because I have tested it to make sure. I have put in, well, I can't really say I've put in an enormous amount of work because the game lets you idle level, so I was basically AFK, but I was AFK for several days in the first room of Princess Hazulkin's castle. You may notice some changes over here at the left. That is because everyone is now level 20. Because we are not doing again what happened last Saturday. I wanted to make absolutely sure. So you can see drastically increased hit points. We've had some gear changes. While I was leveling, I picked up a dragon helmet. This is a helmet +2. It's not quite the best helmet in the game because it could be a +3, but it's the best type of helmet. Yeah, look at all these blue bars. Look at all these red and orange bars, but especially these blue ones. We're going to need those. They're going to be very important. So, yeah, these helmets here, they don't just spawn from anywhere. You know the giant dragons that surprised us in the desert? Or the ones that can come down in the middle of the Firestone barrier in the Earth Realm? Yeah, I killed a few of those to get some armor. And in doing so, managed to get this nifty helmet for Tiff here. And of course, she's wearing the greaves that we stole from Prince Hazulkin's castle last time. Roger, likewise level 20, he also has, improved armor. He's got improved pants. He's got a really nice helmet. He has his own dragon sword as well. Now, because Jared and Rosa are not going to be using their melee weapons very much in this stream, I did not go back in multiple times to acquire dragon swords for them also, especially since it's just a regular dragon sword. It's not +1 or anything like that. So it's, as far as I know, the only guaranteed dragon sword in the game, other than the one that Princess Hagka gives you, which of course is the +2 that Tiffany has been using. So those dragons are tough. Why are you carrying this? I thought I threw all your junk away. Those dragons can be tough. And because they are tough, look at this, 204 magic. 204 MP. And Rosa's at 236. She has a +2 saber now if she needs it, and still has the only bow in the game. You'll also notice, check this out, she's not wearing her old robe anymore because finally, in killing some of those higher level powerful enemies, a medium robe dropped. So the sorceress or magician and the priest/priestess, their equipment is both called robe, but it is obviously different. In the SNES version, the magician armor is actually called coat instead. So robes are for priests, coats are for magicians. There is a 3rd level robe and coat, like I guess you'd call it a heavy robe and a heavy coat, in the game, but I was not able to find one of either. This was a lucky find, although of course once this one dropped, then immediately like the next 4 or 5 enemies that died dropped one, so I found like 4 or 5 of them in a row. So, yeah, she's looking really good, and she's let her hair down. She doesn't have a hood on anymore. You'll also notice, unfortunately, she does not have a shield. She was using the best shield that we had found in the game so far, the one with the red dot in the middle. So it finally happened. In fighting all of those big dragons, those are one of the enemies in the game that their attacks are powerful enough to actually destroy some of your equipment when they hit you. And unfortunately, her shield was destroyed in one of those fights. And it was not a situation where I had to choose between the shield and the really awesome drop that the dragon had given us. It was just carelessness. I did not realize that her shield had been destroyed in the fight until I went in and, I had already saved it. So we lost that shield, unfortunately, and I knew eventually, because there's only one save file, I would screw up and I would accidentally save over something that we wanted to keep, or a good save state, and it finally happened. But that's okay, because with everyone being level 20, we're going to have a lot fewer problems from now on, because first of all, this means that Jared now has the resurrection spell. So as long as he's not the one who dies, death is no longer a problem. He's the only person that we might have to actually pay to resurrect at an Anak temple if he goes down. Everyone else, he can just raise them. And if we do have to pay, all of this leveling has quite literally paid off. So our least wealthy party member now is Roger, who has well over 500,000 jade. I think even at level 20, that will pay for at least one resurrection. So, yeah, we ought to be good, I think. So, we're not going to... Oops. We're not going to lose to Prince Hazulkin like we did before. Look at this, 43 damage points. We've got to the point where, you remember how he was, in fact, he being Prince Hazulkin, he was dealing like almost 200 points per shot to us with his melee attacks and with his fireballs, right? So, guess how much Jared and Rosa are dealing now. Alright, now I'm in this room because Tiffany sees Buckler. Oh, there we go. I'm hitting the poke button instead of the take button. You remember that this room with the weird slow effect on it is one where we found, here we go, these shields, and they're pretty much a guaranteed drop. So I'm going to put that back on her because that is a significant armor increase. And since we have to literally walk past in order to get to Hazulkin anyway, I feel like there's no reason not to grab a shield for Rosa on the way. The weird slow thing in there always makes me nervous because it makes me feel as though, like, I am, something bad is about to happen to my computer. Oh my gosh, get out of Roger's way. Or Jared's way. Okay, just a couple more rooms. Now, if you were here last Saturday, you may recall what an enormous pain in the butt Prince Hazulkin turned out to be. So I looked around a little bit, and as I think I said during that stream, it can be kind of difficult, actually, surprisingly, to find walkthroughs or guides or even a lot of commentary on the PC version of this game because most people are like me and they originally played it on the Super Nintendo, and that is the version that they remember. So that's perfectly fine. See, look there, 102 damage points. We're set. But what that means is that, you know, when I finally found someone who had written about their experiences with the DOS port, and they specifically mentioned some of the difficulties that I have run into, such as the traveling merchants are not there, the inventory in the Weaponsmith up north does not change. It does not roll over anything like I thought that it was supposed to. Some of the spells are a little bit different, the lack of the map and auto compass and so forth, and also difficulty finding or getting to spawn certain equipment such as the level 3 coat and robe, and not being able to find more powerful shields than these bucklers +1 because, well, partly because those other merchants are non-existent in this game. So, on top of that, they mentioned that Prince Hazulkin is hands down the strongest of the Anak Drakk and the hardest boss in the game to fight. So I felt a lot better about my experience here with this, and less like I was doing something wrong, because this other person was like, no, absolutely, this was a really hard fight. I came in at such and such a level, and he just wiped the floor with me. So this should take care of that. I'm gonna set both of them to fireball, and it's time for a rematch. Come on, everybody. Oh, look at that. Eat shit, Your Highness. Boom. He didn't even have time to finish talking. Get wrecked, loser. That's for like the 30 times that you killed us at least that quickly. He dropped a ring, recuperation, a scepter of impalpability. Someone did anyway. Oh, another medium robe, we don't need that. Yeah, it really does. It's just all of a sudden, you know, things are very different. Oh, and look at this. There's a helmet we haven't seen. Now, she can't wear this, unfortunately, and I don't think, in this version of the game, I don't think anyone can wear helmets except for your fighting classes, so... See, that is not as good. I just want you to see how ridiculous it looks, though. But yeah, that's kind of what happened. I set a goal of leveling up to 20 for everyone, and it literally kind of flipped a switch, because even though you see that their stats have not increased, they are dealing way more damage. Right? Like, Rose's intelligence is still 12, which is something I was a little worried about back at the beginning of the game during character creation, especially compared to Jared's, which was 17. She got the education, he got the intelligence, weirdly. So I was a little concerned about that, but you see they're dealing like over 100 damage a shot on the regular with their fireballs now, which is the weakest attack spell that they have. So, yeah. Things are fine. Let's see. Is this buckler any good? Also a buckler +1. Okay, whatever. So, there we go. Oh, and... ta-da, look at this. Now we have 6 of the 8 gems. We have Prince Hazulkin's gem. That's both of the water gems. So now we just need Prince Noctken's gem, which he will kindly give us after we kill Prince Hazulkin and take his. So now, all we have to do is head back out of here. We're gonna leave his castle, this awful, awful, horrible castle, behind. We're gonna save it. Come on, come on. There we go. Everybody, out of that room. Be ridiculous if that room killed us now. After making mincemeat of Hazulkin. Here we go. There we are. Prince Hazulkin is dealt with. Hardcore dealt with. So, you know what that means. Back to the Fire Realm. We went into Prince Hazulkin's castle last time, and we did it just to grab some equipment and see something new after Prince Hazulkin gave us so much trouble. So this time, let's see, what direction am I going? Where's the setting sun? There's the setting sun. Okay, that's west. So this is south. Okay, I am going the right way. There we are. So we explored his castle a bit. We did not see all that there was to see because we did not make it to the man himself. I wanted to deliberately avoid that part of the castle. I do not actually know for certain where in the castle he is, but I remember what rooms we explored, and so we don't have to backtrack through all of that. 227 damage points, look at that. That was Jared's fireball. You love to see it. You really do. That was the wrong symbol. There. Okay, so last time that we explored this castle, we went exclusively over here in this direction to the left. And that's where, you know, if you go back and watch the previous episode, you'll see that the armory with the dragon sword and so forth is all over that way. We did not go to any of the rooms in the north. I just realized. There, see, even those guys that we were terrified of have become easy now. Okay, I want to make sure that it's saved, because I didn't remember saving it. There we go. That way, if something terrible happens, we're mostly okay. We can get back in the castle. Don't have to look for it. Don't have to hunt for the proper direction. Okay, so this one, I think that this door is just going to come out. Yeah, right there. Okay. So we need to go this way. You see nothing interesting. Those doors looked locked. Not anymore. So somewhere through here is going to be Prince Hazulkin. Is this the one with... I think... Okay, if this is it, I have to show you. Okay. One moment. They have paralyzed everybody because for some reason, I guess this candlestick pulled a Prince Hagkin and blocked all of their fireballs. There we go. She got one of them. She got the other one. There we go. Where is Roger? There we go. He was not even in the room. Damn it, Roger. Okay, so here we go. If this is the one, then, and we can do it without interruption, I have to show you. If you examine one of these pools here, then... Nope. Okay, this is not it. I can't remember which pool it is. It might be in Draken's castle. Maybe. Oh my gosh. There we go. If we could have 5 seconds, please. It might be in Princess Noctica's castle. I don't remember. But in one of them, there is a pool like this where if you examine it, then a carnivorous fish jumps up and eats you, kind of like the shark in Hortkin's moat. Jared got pushed out again. The masters do not like being disturbed. You have anything else to say? Nothing? No? Okay. Well, leave us alone. I'm gonna see if there's anything on this bookshelf. Nothing? Okay. Do-do-do-do-do. They're gonna get in our way if we don't take care of them, so... There we go. Whenever I see bars like this, I just assume that the door is locked. Here we go. Hazulkin should be over here somewhere. Roger, why does he keep doing that? Or Jared. I clicked on Roger when I said it. Oh, I think this might be it. I think this may be it. Here we go. The door is locked. Okay. One more room, then. Better put him on fireball as well. The bounty on your heads would earn me enviable respect. Indeed. Okay, come over here so you're close to the door when we go through. The door's locked again. Man, Hazulkin's scared of us. Humans? Guards! Nah, don't worry about it. Man, okay, he's a lot further into his own castle than I thought. Here's a second floor. There's a lot more. I keep thinking that it's gonna be here, it's gonna be here. And it's not, so... Oh, here he is. See that you are carrying the gems. Thank you for bringing them. Now I will be invincible. Ah! There, I hope you got a good look at Prince Hazulkin. Because now he's dead. So there you go. Hazulkin is definitely one of those, like, yeah, the mummy actually took longer to kill. Hazulkin is one of those bosses where, like, he's technically the final boss of the game, but, he absolutely takes less killing than Hagkin. That was noted in the walkthrough that I looked at as well. Ooh. Did you see that? There's like a teleport trap there. Ooh, earth elementals. Here we go, I'm back around. Okay, now we can just loop back. And here we'll show, boom. There we go, we have 7 of the 8 tiers, just to confirm. Let everyone regroup here. Let's get out of here. We need to find Prince Drakkhen. But yeah, this is one of those cases of Prince Hazulkin. He's the Prince of Fire and Death, capital D. Like, he's really built up to be the main bad guy. And then if you can take Hagkin out, Hazulkin goes down in like 1 or 2 hits. And the guide that I read mentioned the same thing. By the time that you grind up high enough to kill Hagkin, Hazulkin is no longer a threat. Here we go. Where's Jared? Oh my gosh. When stuff like that happens, they get sort of stuck on a doorway. You kind of have to click down below them to get them to, like, wiggle down so that they can get lined up with the doorway and get around whatever they're stuck on and then come back. So. Whew. All right. Okay. Phew. Alright, let's see. That's the north. Now, we need to go back to Prince Drakkhen's castle. Oh my gosh. They took that guy out really fast. I'm not scared of anything in this game anymore. Not after Prince Hagkin. Nothing can hurt us now. I am still gonna save it though. Not too bad. That could have gone a lot worse. Oop. It's not letting us in. Where are we supposed to go? I thought... Do y'all remember where he said to meet him? Because I thought he wanted us to go back to his castle. He's supposed to give you his gem after you kill his sister, like on the way out of her castle. If he didn't do that, I really hope that we're not soft-locked. That would be absolutely insufferable. Because we still don't have Drakkhen's gem. However, since we have killed Hazulkin, the game may think that we do. Maybe. But the game also does let you do some things out of order. It's Hazulkin first, and that's where you meet Drakkhen, and he sends you to kill his sister. And then you talk to him again when you kill Drakkhen. And we did that in one run, where we got in, we got lucky, and we took her down in a single shot, or a single go. You know, we didn't have to load scum it the way that we did with Hazulkin. So I'm worried that what happened was because I remember a mob spawning in the room while we were talking to him, and that led to Tiff was not the leader. And that led to us, like, kind of running out on the conversation, because I didn't want to accidentally attack him. Because that would have ruined everything. And, you know, I was excited because we just, you know, we had just taken Drakkhen out. We didn't have to load scum it, like I said. So I'm worried that might be where things went wrong, is that he had more dialogue or something in that conversation, and when we bailed to avoid accidentally attacking him, he did not hand over his gem. That's the only thing that I can think of that maybe would have screwed us up. Ooh, folks. Because it was long ago saved, and there's only one save file. We cannot go back. Dang it. If that's what softlocked the game, I really have to say that is that's a big oversight in the programming. That when he spawns, that, like, or, you know, when you first talk to him and he shows up in that room, that the gem doesn't automatically trigger. Like, if you have to talk to him, because what happened was we had to have a conversation with him and actually hit the conversation button multiple times to hear everything he had to say, and we couldn't do that because of the monster that was in the room. So if you have to hit the conversation button like a minimum of 3 times or something, that would be a big oversight in the programming to allow mobs to spawn in the room while he was there and you needed to hear everything that he said. Kind of like when you're talking to Princess Hagka. Like, nothing should spawn in that room with her because you need to talk to her. So I feel like that's not it, but I can't find anything else about anyone else soft locking in this fashion. So I hesitate to say this is a unique situation, but I also don't know what to do. I'm definitely open to suggestions. Yeah, one of the two. Because I really hate to have come this far and put in this much work, and I've enjoyed this playthrough. I mean, Draken is one of those games that it has its little features that can be frustrating, the way that the characters, like, move in front of each other and they get hung up really easily on objects and stuff, and there's the level grind, but I still like it. It's a game that has a lot of, you know, it has a lot of nostalgic value for me, and I see the origins of it and remember how fun it was as a kid and how challenging, and so playing this DOS port like this for the first time has been fun. So I hate to put in all this work and then have to start completely over. Yeah, and I mean, I know this happens. This happens to every gamer sooner or later, right? There's a glitch that makes you have to start over, or that corrupts your save file or something. And this has been a week for it because, of course, on Thursday, Streamlabs had some difficulties. And, oh, hey! Hey! Everybody, welcome, Camilio. Hey, thank you for the raid, and welcome, everybody. Appreciate that. Y'all are coming in at the tail end of what might be a tragedy stream. And Crow, I'm not sure, actually. I don't think so. I don't think that there's like a cheat code or something, because this is an awful lot of work to get soft locked. Wow, it actually looks like there are some cheats. Some, anyway. Looks like you can create like a debug character who starts at level 14. That could be an option if I have to replay it. It's also possible I could go back, and because I do have the Super Nintendo version and we keep talking about the differences, I could show off what the SNES version looks like in comparison. And it would be very, very different, because there we have a map. It's going to go a lot faster, and they have like the different merchants, more gear is going to spawn. It's not enough to call it a different game, because it isn't, but you can definitely tell that the changes were made. And now, here it is on the Super Nintendo. There's the Infogrames gay armadillo. This is the opening screen that I remember, and it even has clues in it to one of the game's riddles or puzzles, which I think I mentioned before. 4 elements form the universe. 2 poles govern these elements. These 8 principles proceed from all. All is as the phoenix. In other words, it'll be consumed and reborn again and again. Yeah, exactly, positive and negative. Mithraton, the ultimate magus, is the one who wrote this prophecy. So here we go. Here is the first big difference between DOS Draken, or original flavor Draken, and the Super Nintendo, is you'll see there are in fact 2 save files. So, yeah, exactly. You can see, my man cannot be here in person, but he can be in the chat. So, good news, there are 2 save files. Bad news, once you pick a save file and you start playing on that game, whenever you save, it automatically, oh, I love you, baby. It automatically saves to that file. So, like, I've been playing on file 1, I have to be careful to select file 2, because if I choose new game... Here we go. I do want to show you some stuff here at the beginning. Listen at that. Oh my goodness gracious. A very fun time. That music slaps. And it is so different from the first one, because one of the best parts of Draken for the Super Nintendo is that there are so many more music tracks, like additional music. And it's so good. But I'm not gonna attempt to actually like recreate our actual party. I've already done that. Instead, what I want to do is there is a specific thing you can do here on the character creation screen, and I know that it works on other versions. I don't know if it works on Super Nintendo. So let's see. Let's see. It doesn't really matter. We'll pick some. I'll just make a fake party of the other like gendered versions of the professions, because we haven't gotten to see those. So if you name your character. Let's see, 5, and then I think that it is 927. It's like Pi Greco. Okay, so here we go. Now, you recognize the character screen, of course. This is where it's going to show you down in the bottom what your stats are, and then you have to choose one of these to assign whichever number is lit up. You can hit B to re-roll those stats, and just like in the computer version, you can do that 2 times, maximum. 11, let's see, doesn't really make much difference. Let's do female scout. There she is. 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 9, 2, 7. Let's see here. Knowledge. Power, probably. Intelligence, agility, a physique. And then let's see, we need a male fighter, don't we? Abs McPecs over here. 3, 1, 4. Oh. 1, 5, 9, 2, 7. God, this hot Mega Man music. Let's see, you don't need any knowledge whatsoever because you don't get any attack spells. Power, agility, intelligence, physique. Those are actually pretty good stats. And then finally, the priestess. There we go. It's interesting that the female priestess seems older because she has white hair, but like they also kind of sexualize the sprite. She obviously has like large breasts and a bare midriff. 4, 1, 5, 9, 2, 7. Now, what does this name do? Like, what's it supposed to do? So theoretically, what this is supposed to do is, oh wow, this character's gonna suck. Okay, whatever. Okay. This is supposed to create super characters. When the dragons were destroyed, a new world was born. But the humans may be destroyed. The humans failed to heed the gods' advice and wiped out the dragons. So, the gods made a new world, one for the Draken, half human, half dragon. The new Draken Island world was divided into 4 parts. They were earth, fire, air, and water. Each area is ruled by 2 Drakens. The human world is in danger of being destroyed by the Draken, but the gods have granted the humans a final chance for survival. 2 exclamation points. They will be spared if they can collect the 8 tears on Draken Island. Start your quest by inquiring at Prince Hordkin's castle. His castle lies before you. Go forth. May luck be with you. Would you like a game explanation? So, first of all, these dialogue windows are timed, but they have a pretty long timer. Like, long enough that I managed to get all the way through reading them before I hit the A button to manually advance. And whenever you're given a choice like this, it pauses and will not auto-advance. So, like, we could sit here forever until I hit the A button, but I'm going to go ahead and do that to show it off. So here we go. It actually tells you how to play the game. You can use the D-pad, obviously, to move the cursors, the characters, change your view. The L and R keys on the Super Nintendo controller can make the characters appear or disappear on the screen, so that's where they go down behind the UI or not. And you can also see how drastically the UI has been changed. You've got your MP over on the left, HP along the bottom, your 4 characters, and everything is all visible along the bottom instead of the entire game world being crammed up in that box in the top right corner. And then all of your game commands and menu options and the ways that you interact with the world are over here at the right. So the A key is used to make selections, B lets you cancel your last choice, X lets you select a character with a blue lamp or a leader with a red lamp. You can see right now our magician is selected with red. That means that whenever the character with the red lamp goes into another room, everyone else will follow them. If the lamp or the icon is blue, that's how you know you are moving that character by themselves. Y lets you choose which character you wish to move. So yeah, that's how, like, you just basically slide between them. Every time you hit Y, it's going to move over one character to the right. Select reveals the map. Start also does. The map shows the location of the characters and the direction of movement. Oh my gosh. Honestly, the best part of this game. When you want to give a command, press the A button and the sword cursor will appear on that menu down in the bottom right. Yeah, there's a whole ass map. You use the control pad or the D-pad to choose an icon and press the A button. The little head icon is basically your status screen. That's how you change your equipment. That's how you cast spells like field spells. And you can see each individual character's character sheet, so to speak, which is really great. We'll get to that in a moment. The mouth, the lips, the luscious lips, the Rocky Horror lips. They let you listen to a spoken message again, or they advance dialogue when you're speaking to a friendly character. Now, we're probably not gonna... We may or may not get to see this. So, I want to specify here that there's so many quality of life changes in the Super Nintendo version. And one of those is, whenever you enter a room with a friendly character, in cases of things like, for example, when we're in Princess Hazulka's castle, and we find her dead and then go into the next room to collect her gem from the monster that's in there, if a friendly NPC like Prince Drakkhen is going to show up, they will not spawn until the room is clear of monsters, and then as long as a friendly NPC is in there, monsters cannot spawn until they leave. Combat is not something that you turn on and off. It's not a mode. It's not a binary in this game, the way that it is in the DOS and Amiga versions and so forth. So if there are hostile creatures in a room when you enter, your characters will automatically begin attacking them with whatever action you've assigned. If there is a friendly character, you don't have to worry about accidentally attacking them. You can't. So here we go. The gamepad icon basically shows you this screen again, this tutorial. The reaching hand icon lets you take things. The sword icon lets you assign actions to be used in combat. The push button, of course, does exactly that. I love the way it explains it, though. This icon lets you activate the element symbol by moving the lever. Like, I guess it's talking about the elemental symbol next to the magical fields that are in the first room of every castle. But it makes it sound like that's the only thing you use it for, which is not true, because of course there are other levers. The eyeball lets you get a more detailed description of things that are near the selected character, so you can look at stuff. And then that weird looking diskette icon, I guess it's a diskette? Well, I suppose it's meant to resemble a Super Nintendo game cartridge, actually. That lets you save the game. And the open door icon, another QOL change, lets you exit a castle from anywhere. So whenever you hit that button, you leave, no matter where you're at, which is great. Yeah, that's what I think it is. I think that it's meant to be a SNES cartridge. So here we go. L or R key can be used to make the characters visible or not. When they're not visible, you can use the control pad to explore your surroundings. If you encounter an enemy, they will automatically become visible, and they'll come up from behind the UI. When you're in a castle, you can choose to move the entire group or a single character with the X button. While exploring a castle, red lamp indicates the leader, Y chooses the leader, other members of the party will follow the leader. When exploring, a blue lamp indicates a single character to be moved. You can press the Y button to choose which character. Battles are waged automatically. However, the leader or selected character can be moved with the control pad, so you can reposition whoever it is that is currently lit up or active. You may be able to escape an enemy you encounter outside of castles by quickly pressing the L or R key. And to escape from a battle inside a castle, you have to flee to another room. So that's something else. You may remember in the DOS play, right, that we have done, enemies will follow you between rooms of a castle until you defeat them. In this game, that does not happen. Encounters are room-based. If you leave the room, the encounter resets or stops. They cannot chase you, so that means that you can run into an empty room to get away. Now, that doesn't mean every room is safe, because it is still possible for random encounters to spawn. However, in the SNES version, the random encounter spawn rate has been drastically decreased. Much easier for getting around, not as good for level grinding, I can tell you, because I did have to do that to sort of rebuild our save file. You can choose which characters are defensive in battle and which are using weapons or magic by choosing the sword icon. That's new. And of course, as long as you can see your characters, they will slowly replenish their HP and MP, and you can use, potions and things like that. Deceased characters can be resurrected by certain items and spells. They can also be resurrected by the priests of the Anak shrines. Equipment like weapons and armor can be found in the castles, bought from merchants, or acquired from defeated enemies. If any of the characters fall into a river or lake, quickly press the L or R buttons to prevent them drowning. If you do not seem to be able to move characters, check to see if the sword cursor is visible in the icon area. If so, press the B button to return to the game. So yeah, sometimes they're warning you that the game can sort of hang up or pause because you were kind of in between actions. So for example, this will happen where if you were trying to use the menu or navigate the menu when a random encounter spawned, the characters will attack, and then when the enemy is defeated, it will pause and often not go back. It'll look like the game is frozen until you hit the B button to kind of leave the menu. You can listen to spoken messages again by choosing the mouth icon. Sometimes use the mouth icon repeatedly to get more information. See, there we go. I don't have to do anything. They just automatically attack. I mean, for all the good that it does. Look, they're just moshing with these rats. There we go. Hey, they got them. So, here are our options. Just ignore that. First of all, you may notice the enemies actually make a wide variety of sounds now, which is pretty cool. And you'll see down at the bottom some stuff is happening. See those yellow arrows popping up? And then numbers are replacing where the leader lamp goes. So that is an indicator where whenever an action you have taken is giving the character experience points, the yellow arrow lights up to point up to where the leadership icon is supposed to be to draw your attention to the fact that it has been briefly replaced by a number. And that number is how many experience points they just got for whatever it was they did. So you can see who is leveling up by doing what, which can be really helpful. So it looks like the cheat code did not work. I think it's some kind of debug thing for, for the developers to navigate the game and check things out and stuff, perhaps. So it looks like it doesn't work on the Super Nintendo version, or I did it wrong. But you're supposed to enter these numbers as the names of the characters, and then they start at level 14, which is a sufficient level to get you all the way through the game. So I don't know. I may have done it wrong because I've never used it before. That's new knowledge for me. Or it may simply be that that works on the DOS version and not the SNES version. I didn't try it on the DOS version. You can see over here our compass. You can see everyone's level, their hit points and MP, which is great. Seeing a numerical value displayed all at once, which is something we didn't have in the DOS version. Those blinking lights along the bottom, those are the gems that we do or do not have. You can also enter each person's individual character sheet. You can see here their equipment that they have. You can give it to other people. You can drop it. There's no more dragging onto that weird well thing. You can check their items separately, which items are things like rings, potions, and so on. Potions have been fixed. You can get empty vials, but there's only two kinds of potions: a vial of HP or a vial of MP, and they do exactly what you think they do when you drink them. So they can be handy to have since they can be used from the menu. So they made it a little bit easier to pop those off in the middle of a boss fight or something. Magic. This is how you use magic in the field. So the magician starts with a cure spell so that he can cure poison. If you want to cast a spell like Unlock, for example, you'll do it from this menu, as you will see later. Information. This shows you the actual detailed character sheet of whoever is selected. So you can see their power, defense, physique, intelligence, knowledge, agility, and fortune. First of all, power was not visible in the DOS version. That was something I learned very quickly. So this shows you that our magician here has 20 attack power. These other numbers, other than power and defense, also go up as you level up. They actually do increase, so you can see how much stronger your characters are getting. Fortune is static. Fortune, I have found what it seems to do mostly is, in this version at least, I think it might have an effect on the drop rates of items or quality of items that are left behind as treasure from monsters killed by the character. But a hidden effect that seems to be from my repeated testing with different merchants, it seems like fortune has a big effect on the quality of items you buy from merchants as well. So what that tells me is I think it is directly tied to the quality of all item drops, no matter where they come from, whether it's from a monster that they killed or from a merchant when you buy it. Because when, like, Rosa has a sky high fortune stat, so whenever she buys things from a merchant, it usually tends to be a +2 or +3 version of that thing. But if I buy the exact same item with Jared, who has an abysmal fortune stat, it's like 7, it is always the plain bare bones bog standard version of that thing, no matter, even if it's like a dragon sword, he just buys a regular dragon sword and she'll buy a dragon sword +2 or +3 every time. So it seems to be tied to item quality whenever it spawns. So yeah, a lot of quality of life updates. Oop, no. I didn't tell you to leave. Here we go. Listen at that music too, by the way. Now we actually get to hear... Oh man, love this track. So here, instead of turning combat on or off, you can actually choose what they are doing. Ready the equipped weapon, you can choose attack magic, he starts with strength. Defense magic, he starts with invisibility. Or, this new command, defense. Defense gives you a small defensive boost and causes the character to, they will not attack, they will not cast magic, they will run around the screen attempting to avoid enemy attacks. So that can be useful. Okay, let's go over here where we're... Oh, also, there you go. Concussions don't happen in this version. You can bounce into things and you get a crunchy noise, but it does not cause the music to stop, which is almost disappointing. Here's another change. Notice that our friend the shark is not here. In the Super Nintendo version, when you first come to Hazulkin's castle, the shark is absent and does not spawn until after you have visited his sister's castle and come back. So, yeah, we got a padded helmet, that's it. So, here we go. We can just walk straight across, and there you go, you can see I hit X to turn that blue, and Y to cycle through everybody. And they change the messages so they make more sense. You have just stepped into the castle of the Earth Prince, Hazulkin. They also changed some of the spellings, like Hazulkin's name is not nearly as... I don't know, like Slavic, I guess, or something. All those extra consonants. They also changed some of the effects and art assets in here. Like, see that the magic fields are red and blue now instead of just plain, like, sort of orangey. But the puzzle solving is pretty much the same. Like, I'm going to inch my way over here, and the game does strain a little bit. It seems like when it has to load a lot of different assets, which I think maybe are like the limitations, the technical limitations of the system. See, here's a treasure drop screen. You got 432 jade. We picked up a buckler. Now, of course, here everybody has the same name, but it will now tell you who received an item that was dropped, and it's almost universally the person who actually landed the killing blow. Here we go. Also, whenever the leader enters a room, everyone else is teleported to the doorway of the next room that they entered. You don't have to worry about people, like, it can still happen that someone will occasionally get stuck on geometry, and they'll hang up in another room, but usually they will all just teleport in a cluster to this door. And that makes navigating a lot easier because you don't have to wait for people to come in before, like, you're starting a big battle or something. These are the prince's rooms. No one may enter them. Yeah, whatever. See, he's not even fighting us. He just yells, and then he, like, ice skates off to the side. We're gonna go down here and talk to Hazulkin. This guy actually does fight us. There we go. We got a shirt. Yay. See, listen to that. So many more, like, remastered music tracks. Here's Hordkin, and what he says makes a lot more sense in this version. They cleaned up a lot of the dialogue. Welcome, humans. I am Prince Hordkin, lord of this castle. I have a favor to ask of you. My sister, Princess Hordka, resides in her castle in the east. Go and tell her I wish to see her. I await her kind reply. Listen at that music, though. Boom, 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 boom. Man, that's a serious, like, bass line. Alright, and now we can talk to him again. Quickly, go tell Princess Hordka I want to meet her. She is in her castle in the east. Beware, I am hot-tempered. Off with you now. And we're just gonna go here, and we're just gonna leave. And there we go. See? So very different. So very different. So, that being said, let's get to the actual game. I'll get to show a lot of the improved art and things off in our other save file. Love this title screen. File 1, start. So, here we are. Thud, snap. So, everyone, you remember our party. We've got Rosalind, the sorceress. We've got Jared, the priest. We've got Tiffany, the Amazon. We've got Roger, the scout. So, you'll notice that they do look a little different. They do not have the best equipment in the game. Most of them, anyway. But they do have a lot of it. For example, Rosa here is got heavy cuirass. I haven't gotten her a +2 or +3, but she doesn't need it. Boots. She's got a heavy coat +2, so you'll see I did manage to get the level 3 coat and robe, which are much easier to acquire in this version than in the DOS version, where we literally, even at the end of the game, with everybody level 20 or higher, we never even saw them. So in this one, you can just buy them from shops. Although I should note, they have removed the Weaponsmith. The shop is in that tavern that we would go to, like near Hordkin's castle. Remember, where they would give us a bunch of rumors and things, and then say, "Come back when you have more money." And there's supposed to be a merchant in there. Well, in the SNES version, there is. The Weaponsmith up in the air realm is gone and has been replaced by the merchant in the tavern in the starting area, and also by traveling merchants, which are those old men who will spawn as random encounters. Which means that, on the one hand, they have inventories that change and get higher quality based on the plot points that you have triggered in the game. So the further you are into the story, the better equipment they will sell. On the other hand, if you are just standing out in the middle of nowhere trying to idle grind with random encounters, they actually make that impossible, because eventually one of them will spawn and they give you a choice box. Do you want to buy things from me? Yes or no. And the game just stops there until you choose one. Which means that if you want to idle level, you have to do it in a castle. So, little bit different. There's an upside and a downside to everything. But you'll see she's got a heavy coat, she's got a heavy shield, she's got a +3 bow and arrow, something else we did not see. In the previous playthrough. We've got chainmail, hyper greaves, a heavy robe, hyper shield, bow and arrow again. She's got a +2 dragon cuirass, hyper greaves, helmet and shield. She also has a +2 bow and arrow and a dragon sword. And he's got a +2 dragon cuirass and all similar equipment. So, yeah. Everybody's got good stuff. The bow and arrow have been enough, and where I've been grinding and things, I haven't bothered to acquire dragon swords for everybody. You can see everyone is not as high a level. They're all like, lowest level characters 15, but we didn't make it to 20. That's okay. We don't need to. And you can see we already have 6 of the 8 gems. So, everyone's set to their weapon. I'm going to go in here and have Roger unlock the door. Boom, there we go. So that's how you use field magic. If you want to unlock a door or something or cast invisibility, that's how you do it. I actually really like the track here for the water castle. Pretty good. So we're gonna go kill Prince Hazulkin real quick. The color of hope is not always the sign of goodness. See, they've changed a lot of the dialogue and translations. Unlock. We're also going to cast light, which the light spell is much better in this version. You can see that it lights up the room a lot more, and it lasts for much longer as well, which is great. Alright, we know where Prince Hazulkin is. Let's go get him. This is the death room. No, leave us alone, horrible bat. There we go. This is one of the art assets that I want to show off. See, like, check this out. You remember that this room in the DOS playthrough, if you've been watching, was just kind of mostly a blank wall or some small windows with just colors in them to indicate the sunlight level outside. But look at this. Look at these huge open airy archways, and you can see like another castle out there in the distance. You can see over here is like an aqueduct or a ruin of some kind. It gives the world so much more definition. And they really, even though this is like low res pixel art, this game is so much better looking than the DOS version, in my opinion. Better sounding, better looking. This really just overall is the superior port. So again, I have really quite enjoyed my time with the DOS port, even though we experienced some setbacks, even though it like, you know, soft locked on us and stuff like that. That's all fine. I still had a mostly good time. It rounds up to a good time. But if I was going to recommend this game to someone else, it definitely would be to play the Super Nintendo version, for sure. Okay, there we go. Both of them are set to antimatter. They have their rings on that make them better at damaging spells. And one of you noted that Hazulkin threatened to pleasurably add us to his legions of the undead. He doesn't do that in this version. They fixed his dialogue, so... Here we go. There he is. Well, well. Dear human, do you want to talk here? Notice that his baseline is, like, different from Hordkin's, too. Sorry. Too bad, but all the rooms are filled up. You actually have to talk to him again to initiate combat. Oh yes, I have just the place for you, looking out on the sewer. It fits rats like you perfectly. You'd best give up, or do you want to join my zombie collection? I will tear you to pieces. Yeah, see, he says that. And believe you me, I did absolutely test it before coming in here to make sure that we were high enough level, because remember, he's the real kick in the ass in the whole game. He is the hardest fight, and that does not change in the Super Nintendo version, so I made sure I could kick his ass before I showed it off to you. And I almost saved it to make sure, because the fight went so well. But I wanted to show off the parts of the castle and how it works, you know, traveling through the different rooms and stuff, and specifically that view with the arches. So now that we've taken care of Hazulkin, we can leave. And I'm going to step back up here where it's safe. And whenever you hear a sound effect like that, it always cuts the music off, so it's so funny that it's so abrupt. It just smack, and the music stops dead. Alright, now that y'all have gotten to see the battle with Hazulkin such as it was, I'm going to save it so that we don't have to worry about doing that again. And now I get to show off the world map as we travel to Hazulkin's castle. Because we have one gem left to get. That's right, it's not Noctkin's gem, it's Hazulkin's. Because Noctkin, when you kill his sister, he teleports into the room, you get a dialogue box that stops the entire game, and he tells you explicitly that he's giving you his gem, and you have it as soon as the dialogue box concludes. So this is probably the best quality of life change in the Super Nintendo version, is they made it almost impossible to soft lock yourself with the gem thing. Like, I think you can still do some stuff, maybe, like you might be able to provoke Hordkin into attacking you before you've gone and talked to his sister, if you talk to him too many times. And if that's the case, that would ruin the game, but of course that would be very early on. So it's also kind of like, whatever, you know? So we got the gem. Yeah, I miss the trash well too. And I also miss the fact that, you remember how here when you cross the drawbridge, if you didn't cast the unlock spell, it would just slap up and like kill someone and just boom, instant death. So that doesn't happen in this one. The shark can still kill you. But here, you just simply cannot get into the castle because the drawbridge slams up and locks in place when you approach, unless you cast unlock. Similarly, Hazulka's door does not slam down and crush someone who attempts to enter. Instead, it is just closed when it is not dawn, and then it opens when you can go into the castle when the enchantment takes effect. So that also, like, it gives you a nice visual representation to show you, like, you can enter the castle now, but it's not nearly as funny as the door just coming down and killing someone. Man, listen at that. So see, every realm got its own musical track, which is really great. Oh, this bat is so... Look at that, see? Tiffany got 78 experience points for killing that bat. Here we go. I wanted to come up north since we were close so that you could hear the Air Realm soundtrack as well. And so that you could see these transitions. See, like, remember how there was just a hard pixel line where you could see that you had 1 foot in the Air Realm and, like, 1 foot in the Water Realm or whatever? So they don't do that anymore. Instead, the Super Nintendo version added these color-shifting transitions. Look at this. All white on this side for the snow and tundra. Oh, this guy. Shoo. Glad he went down fast. But then... It's so funny, I mentioned that the encounter rate had been dropped in the Super Nintendo version, and then this. So, anyway, then we go south to the Water Realm and see how it shifts and changes, and the music even crossfades. Really cool. But this is my favorite part. Yeah, it's hysterical. It really is almost like a different game entirely. Which is why I knew so much about the DOS version, but at the same time also knew nothing and could barely play it in places. I kept being wrong about stuff because they changed so much stuff for the better in the Super Nintendo version, and the SNES version came afterwards. So that means playing the DOS version, it wasn't a blind playthrough, but it was definitely very different. But look at this. It shows us we're facing southeast. It shows us where everything's at, and that blinking cursor shows our location. So now we know where to go to head all the way down to the desert to Hazulkin's castle. I love the musical track. The Water Realm music is so peaceful. But you can see that, look, the Super Nintendo kind of starts to chug a little bit when there are too many different objects that have to be loaded. See, because it goes a lot quicker here in combat because things like trees and rocks disappear. But look, see how much slower it's going because there's all of this water around that it has to load. Whew. Water Elemental tried quite successfully to drown Rosa. No. No. Get out of there. This is not time for a swim. Here we go. And listen, there's even different music at night. Also, see the stars up there? You can see some stars are brighter, and they have, like, definitive shapes. So, I'm gonna show you something really funny. Something very cool. Let's see, where are we? That is south. Okay, we need to keep going south. We just need to get out of here. Oh, those rats are about to have a bad time. the moon. See, they changed so much about the game to just make it prettier. And honestly, I know that some of you have commented that Draken seems like a slog. Like, it's not fun to watch me play it. Oop, there's the Firestones. I need to go around those. And it looks like it probably wouldn't be fun for you to play it either. And you know what? Fair enough. The DOS version is hard. It's from the era when games not only did not hold your hand, but almost were like actively playing against you, in a way. So I get that. But the Super Nintendo version feels so much better to play. The only real downside is kind of how you see it being slow here, whereas obviously when I played the DOS version on the PC, it ran a lot smoother. It ran like butter. Okay, we're gonna keep going south here. And so the Super Nintendo, bless its heart, it does its best with what it can. Oh, here we go. Now we're in the desert. Ooh, chunky boy. A chunky boy. Oh, he's scary, like his face is all lit up. Hey, we got a Hyperquerus. Now, this is an endgame. Oh, here it is. There we go. When you hear that sound and see the constellations start to move, they'll wiggle or flap their wings or something. Look at this. And then these horrible monsters come down from the sky. Look at that. But notice that its constellation is gone, so you can only fight each of those particular monsters like once per night, and then they respawn when the sun rises. And I don't really know what causes them to spawn. There is a piece of dialogue somewhere in the game that says something to the tune of looking for too long at the stars is a bad idea. So I think what it is when you face a constellation and keep looking at it and walking towards it for too long, it gradually increases the chance that you will fight one of those and that they will come down and spawn. I'm not 100% certain of that. That's just a theory. Alright, let's get over here. We're gonna save it. Here we are at Hazulkin's castle. Let's see. Can we get in this side? Troops block the way. Without a permit, you cannot pass. Okay, we have to get in a specific direction, just like last time. But the compass makes it a lot easier. Oh, there's the daytime desert music. See, like, I think maybe we have to come in either from the north or from the east facing west, and I'm not sure. So let's see. Okay, that's still facing southeast. Let me go a little bit further around. I've not done his castle in this run yet. There we go. You've entered the court of the Prince of Fire and Death, Hazulkin. Okay, so I'm going to do like I did before, where I'm going to run up on it and save so that we don't have to, in case something happens, which I don't expect, we don't have to find this correct direction again. See, I like how it says you haven't broken into the castle, you have entered it. Because it didn't make sense to say you had broken into, for example, Hagka's castle. Why would you have? She invited you to be there, right? Okay, let's see. There we go, that's fire. Now, of course, there's treasure and things in here to grab. There's like some dragon greaves and stuff. But we know what we're here for. Let's just do it. I am going to go ahead and cast light, just because that will make it easier to see details. That's what light generally does. You'll be able to see more of the castle as we travel through it. Oh, nope. And I also want to take this opportunity to... I'm going to throw some things away because we don't need money at this point. Oh. No, do drop short sword. Speaking of money, here's a huge improvement. Look down there at the bottom of the menu window. See where it says coin and has a list of how much jade we have? Yeah. They did exactly the thing they should have done from the beginning, the thing that we complained about. There is a singular shared party wallet. There's a kitty for your jade. And you spend out of that pool instead of everybody having their own individual jade values, which is great. Okay, we'll throw out this hyperquirus. We don't need it. Yay! Yay, socialism. Okay, there we go. That's just in case somebody, like, drops something good. Just like you want to have a couple of inventory slots free when Hagka gives you the dragon sword and the dragon cuirass.
Master is busy. He has no time to spare for you.
Shut up. Tiffany got a shield that I'm going to throw away. I also like that it gives you a dummy button because there is no longer a well for you to like manually drag things over so that you can't accidentally throw something away. You have to do it very deliberately. So since they took that away, they gave you a dummy button to kind of replace that and give you the same security. Okay, I think he's right through here. He might be up a little bit more. Yeah, okay, it's a little more. I think I thought that last time we came in here after him also. I kept saying like, oh, he's right through here, he's right through here. Here we go. A Draken priest.
Ah, you are the humans being hunted by Lord Hazulkin. There's a reward on your heads. I'm going to get that reward.
Nah. Oh, he did paralyze Tiffany, though. So we'll have to wait for a minute. And you'll notice her HP is gradually going down as well. Like, her regeneration rate's pretty good. She's not going to die before the spell wears off or anything. But you can see while you are paralyzed, they made the paralysis spell even more effective by causing it to drain health while you are frozen. So. Oh, man. Now, see, that's a genius move, Blunt. If you could, like, turn yourself in for the reward and then leave with the money. Unfortunately.
Guards, some humans are lurking about.
We're not lurking. We're massacring our way through the castle. I'm sorry, I thought that was clear. Do we need to go back and start again? There are still some rooms where, like, his light spell wore off, but there are rooms where, for some reason, it suppresses light magic. I don't know why, but there are a few rooms where it stays dark no matter what you do. Man, for someone so secure in his own supposed superiority, there sure are a lot of locked doors between us and Hazulkin. Oh, here we go, the man himself. Look at him. Look at his stupid face. And his bright red codpiece. And his giant horn. Look at it. He's so ridiculous.
So, vermin, you came so far to help the humans. Relax. Your journey is over. You will die here.
He immediately starts attacking you. But it doesn't matter. Fuck you, buddy. At Hazulkin's defeat, the priest of the Plains Shrine appeared. This is the priest from the one, remember they keep telling us that the, the shrine in the center of the island in the middle of the water realm is like the main one. Well, in the Super Nintendo version, the priest there actually introduces himself with a name. So this is that guy.
Thank you, humans. The root of evil has been destroyed.
Yeah, this is not a jam. This right here is not a music track. This is supposed to simulate the sound of murmuring. So whenever you're talking to a friendly NPC, you will often hear this sound effect in the background because it's supposed to be like voices unintelligibly talking, I guess.
Now you only need go to the island's center, and there you can convert the 8 gems to the 9th tier. Then the supreme gods will save this dragon world, as well as yours.
Okay. We've been given our instructions, folks. That's it. Let's see if there's anything good in his treasure room. I don't remember if there is or not. I feel like there's something back here that's like halfway decent, like some dragon armor or something. This guy didn't even have anything to say. He's just attacking us. Oh well. Should have talked to us. Well, we can leave anytime, and there we go. That's what we didn't have before. Look at that. Look how beautiful that is. All 8 tiers. Ah, that's a good feeling. And that's a big load off my shoulders, because I really worried when, like, we got soft locked. I wanted to be able to show you all the whole game. And for those of you who have enjoyed it especially, but also those of you who are looking forward to something else, I wanted to be able to give us all the satisfaction.
Oh, the only good human is a dead one, so we want you to be good,
he says. Oh, he didn't even get to us. Hilarious. But I wanted to give us all the shared satisfaction of, you know, actually seeing an ending. Of actually getting an ending. And I was really worried that I wasn't going to be able to do that. So thank you for sticking with me. I have enjoyed playing the DOS version. I have enjoyed also like rediscovering the Super Nintendo version, which it's been quite a few years since I played it. So it was nice to drag this cartridge out and plug it in, and, you know, it's just, it's overall been a good time. Oh, here's one of the big dragons. That's alright, we can take them down too. They really take their time introducing these guys, but... There we go. Cool. Got a lot of jade, got a dragon cuirass, got a lot of experience points. There's a mummy. They changed where some of the enemies show up, I think, to make them more quote-unquote appropriate. So there are some enemies, like mummies, that they generally only show up in the desert realm now. There we go. Okay, we're close. There is one more thing I want to show you on the way to the end of the game, but this is going to be the conclusion coming up here. So, again, you know, thank you all for enjoying this series. Thank you for all of your comments and support. Thank you for waiting while we sorted out the technical difficulties and while I rebuilt our entire save file on a different platform, on a different system, and came back for the conclusion of the series. And thank you for giving me a chance to rediscover, you know, a game from my childhood that I quite love, that I still love. I do recommend this game to you. I do actively want you to play it, but I do want you to play the Super Nintendo version. I don't want you to play the. Maybe don't play the DOS version. The DOS version's easier to get, for sure. And if you're into it, play it. Of course, if you're watching on YouTube, then there is a link in the description down below the video where you can get the game on GOG and on Steam. But if you can get the Super Nintendo version, definitely go with that one. So here we go. I wanted to show off the temples because they're very different in this game.
Approach me all. I will be glad to heal you despite our differences. Let the injured come forth, or do you want only to speak to me?
So here we go. This is the Temple of Anak. Each of them have something different to say. Like, for example, here, if you hit A to listen, be guided by the stars of fate. They'll say different stuff at different points in the game, but they have this kind of, like, not quite sinister, but very, like, this very heavy, dignified, Gregorian chant kind of music going on in the background. But more importantly, you remember me talking maybe at the beginning of the DOS series about how leveling up was so much easier in the Super Nintendo version, and even dead characters were not as much of a problem. Now, of course, Rosalind and Jared in this playthrough both have the resurrection spell, so like NBD, but the way that I remembered it was that from this version, where you can just go into any of the 4 temples and hit the Y button, and they will heal you for free. They'll heal the whole party to full health, and they will resurrect any dead characters for absolutely free. Yes, free is my favorite flavor. Honestly, right? Like, that's the biggest and perhaps least realistic change that occurred between the DOS version and the Super Nintendo version, is they added public health care. Alright, so now that I've shown that off, let's go. And since we are coming up on the end here, I'm going to give it a save. But again, I want to thank you all for joining me. I want to remind you, if you're not already, follow. Following's free. If you've enjoyed the series, or if you just like retro gaming in general and you want to see more of what we're doing on the channel, then absolutely, stick around. Get access to those follower emotes and stuff. If you've got a free sub from Amazon Prime and you want to chuck it at us, that's great. And if you want to sub for real money or pledge over on Patreon, that also is much appreciated and very touching. We support every one of you who do that. It's absolutely not necessary, but, we love that. And we love you for it. But mostly, just follow here and on YouTube, subscribe, turn on notifications, follow over on Twitter especially, and Facebook if you gotta. Because Twitter is where we do things like put up polls, and there is one already up right now for y'all to decide the next game that's going to replace Draken here for the Saturday series. So be sure to go over there and vote for your favorite, and pick what we're going to play next on Saturdays. Well, with that being said, here we go. Finally, here it is. The end of Draken. There's the edge of the Firestone barrier, right? You can see we're almost right at the exact center of the island. That's where we need to go. Hear the music? Now, for some reason, I think that it's always the second character who gets the privilege of being the leader, maybe. I don't think it's who you have selected, because we had Tiffany selected. But see, here we go. It's Jared in this case. He worked the hardest. As you hold up the 8 gems to the sky, 4 dragons descend. The dragons of air, water, earth, or air, earth, water, and fire, probably. The blinding rays of light given off by the dragons creates the 9th teardrop. The dragons speak. All things begin and end. With this, our good land. The light teardrop, the atom's chaos, the sacred flame of thousands of lives. It sends the army of chaos, lights the night, and returns order to the world. The 4 pairs of dragons melt into one, and each plays its own role. You humans have acted with great wisdom and courage. Your valiant efforts have restored justice. Now, return to your own world. Tell your people this. To fight with dragons means the destruction of your future and your lives. That is a threat. Now, another great challenge awaits you. Yes, you also do not have to strip off all your equipment in this one. So here we go. There it is, the end of Draken and the credits. And no, we did not have to get naked, which is almost disappointing after all this. So, thank you. Thank you, Richard, Michelle, Laurent. We appreciate you. I appreciate you, at least. Everyone else is allowed to have varying feelings, but this game was really important to me as a kid because it was the only game like it on the Super Nintendo. And I had a Super Nintendo before I had a home computer that would play very many games. My first home computer was actually like a Tandy 1000 or something. It wasn't a DOS computer, so I couldn't even play games like this. Oh yeah, there's a little Easter egg for you. I couldn't even play games like this that were ported to DOS because I didn't have that system available. So I didn't really even I didn't do DOS gaming until I had a Windows 95 computer. And then most of those games, of course, were, compatible because DOS was still in use at the time. So, this was an important game for me because it was so unique. It was challenging. It wasn't like anything else that I had access to. No one that I knew had played it. I came across it quite by accident, and, the family really got a kick out of it. But also, I'm a big tabletop gamer, and Drakkhen takes a lot of inspiration, I feel, from things like Dungeons and Dragons, which were definitely around and popular at the time that the game was written and programmed. And we know this because, of course, in the original version, Gary Gygax was tangentially involved. I mentioned that earlier in the series, so... this took a lot of inspiration from that, a lot of its cues from D&D and similar games, and so, even as a very young child, I was already doing that, so to have access to this, it was like my first real video game version of something I already really loved that was important to me and to my whole family and to some of my friends. Things like Eye of the Beholder and Azure Bonds and so on, I didn't really play until later, so Draken was it. So, I really liked exploring the DOS version and seeing the differences, as honestly frustrating as some of them, were. And also this, Draken 2. So here we go, Finn. And I do want to say, there is a sequel. There is a Draken 2. It is unrecognizable as a Draken game. It's called Dragon View, I think, here in the US. And the only thing that is in any way similar to the first Draken is that it uses the same sort of 2.5D hybrid outside world for you to explore, but then you go into towns and dungeons and there's side-scrolling platformers, kind of like the action sequences in ActRaiser. So yeah, at some point we will definitely play Dragon View, especially because I have played Dragon View, but I do not think that I beat it. So, as with many of the games on my list and games that I played on the channel, even the DOS version of Draken itself, that's an opportunity for me to go back and experience new things, whether that is a game that I missed the first time around, or whether that is a game that maybe I played it but didn't finish it, didn't get all the way into it, didn't see everything that it had to offer, or even if it is just, like in the case of Might and Magic 6 and similar, or a game that I'm playing it for the first time with y'all, and that makes it special all over again too. So thank you so much for coming on this journey with me. Thank you for continuing on this journey with me. Dragon View, yes, at some point in the future, but for now, head over to Twitter, vote for what you would like to see next here on Saturdays, and of course, I am going to take next Saturday off to prepare whatever your choice is. And just a heads up, that means I'll be streaming, I'll be back with a new series on August the 28th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, which is New York and Miami time here in the US. But I am not going to be streaming on September the 4th. So we will be skipping a week. I'll be back with a new series, and then unfortunately we're going to have to skip another week, and I'll come back September the 11th with episode 2 of the new game. So just so that you're not disappointed and wondering what's going on. And of course, again, follow me on Twitter. That's where I always post updates about if I'm going to miss something, if I have to take a day off, if we have technical issues or whatever, that's where you'll know. So definitely make sure that you check in over there and make your opinions known. This is our first poll where our patrons on Patreon have shortlisted the public poll for the rest of you to decide. So if you want to pledge over there, that's a privilege that you can get at the $3 and $5 tiers and up. Well, I say and up. There are only $1, $3, and $5 tiers. So there you go. So thank you again. I will see you on Monday for Super Mario World with Specific Pixel. Hey, baby, if you're still in the chat, love you. And I'll be back on Thursday with what might be the conclusion of Disciples 2. So I'll see you for one of those streams or whenever I see you. And until then, as always, thanks for playing.